Jillian Magister here with a Monsters Menagerie report. Today let's talk about the Arachne. Half human, half spider. But it's not a rider. Oh, this is a trap ambusher type. She will scream and wail like a real person. Just as you go in there and they strike in for the kill. The venom is very poisonous. It will sap away your strength and leave you paralytic. As soon as that happens, they will lay their eggs inside of you. So take my advice. If you see a human, an elf, an orc, whatever it is, being eaten by a spider, take my advice. Put an arrow between their eyes. This is Jillian Magister, here for your safety.
Now, before we continue talking about the independent states, let's finish up with Lucanor and Lucrezio and his Black Panther, totally not called Wingwyver. See, Lucanor created an organization, an assassin guild, called Wissenschaft. Wissenschaft is composed of super soldiers, basically, because he discovered the super soldier serum. Something like that. I'll get deeper into that once we start talking about the secret organizations and the public organizations. However, Lucanor didn't do it by himself. He did it with the help of one man. Can you guess who it is? Come on, it's been 3 videos. At this point, I'm pretty sure you can guess who created the plot here. Schwarzwald. Oh yeah, it was Schwarzwald again. That lanky looking old man with long black hair, white lab coat, and round glasses. A Hoyo by any name would be just as stupid. Kudos if you got that, if you actually got that joke. That was obscure. Alright. So yeah, Wissenschaft was created with the help of Dr. Schwarzwald. Then, the next we have the Eastern Lands. The Eastern Lands. Alright, try to guess what the Eastern Lands is. Did you guess? It's Japan and China. It's Rokugan. It's basically what it is. It's Rokugan in Anima. It's an island is divided in 2 with Japan at the bottom and China on top. Or something like that. Here you have ninja samurais, kamis, spirits. The book tells you, I mean, it's not ashamed of what it is. I'll give the book that. It's not ashamed of it. It's not ashamed of the racism. Martial arts was created in the Eastern Lands. Because of course it was. Shaolin monks, right? And samurais, right? So they come from the East. So in Anima, they come from the East as well. Well done, Carlos. I hope none of you are offended. Take it up with him. Then we have the inner sea. The inner sea is a strange one because all across the book you have a lot of secrets and all these different principalities and states and empires and whatever. But then you have the inner sea, and the inner sea is basically secret central. Everything in the inner sea is a secret. Save for one thing, which has a huge secret. Let's begin with Torrauco. Torrauco is the name of the Templars. And the Templars of Torrauco, in the island of Torrauco, where the headquarters of Torrauco is, they have a secret area underneath the island where they house a lot of supernatural beings. In like a supernatural paradise. I think it's called Eden as well. Redundancy, I know. Because they are tasked by the church to protect. mystical things, while the Inquisition is tasked with killing them. The church has problems. So then you have Selene, the island of Selene, and here is where, in the island of Selene, is where the Selene assassins go to, because that's the headquarters of the Selene secret organization. These islands should pick other names, honestly, or at least the organizations should. Selene is a bunch of female assassins, and that's all you need to know. Then you have the biggest attraction of the Inner Sea, Paradis, which basically is paradise. It's a giant amusement park. It's a ginormic amusement park. That's what it is, an amusement park. And here's the thing, like I said, you have technology in this world is all over the place, because you have some people that are ancient Egyptians without the whole anthropomorphic gods. But then you also have Zeppelins, and then you have roller coasters and Ferris wheels. Again, Carlos, I understand that you're trying to be all-encompassive, but fantasy world, Christian fantasy, medieval fantasy, amusement park with machines. Do you see where the clash comes in? Can you tell? I hope you can. If you can't, see a doctor. Okay. So, underneath this amusement park of Paradise, there's a place called Wonderland. And described by the book Wonderland, what it is basically a replica, a fully functional replica of Paradis. However, it's underground. And if it's a dark amusement park underground, it can only mean one thing. I want to play a game. Yep, it's Saw time. It has killer clowns. It has monsters dressed as clowns and mimes that hunt people. And while you're trapped in Wonderland, you have to win 100 points doing a lot of different games. And these points are called, what was it? Super happy points. You have to get 100 super happy points. Because everybody's happy in Wonderland, right? To escape. If not, the clown, because they didn't give it a name, it's just the clown, will come and get you. And kill you. See, I don't have a problem with a setting like this. You know, the whole amusement park underneath the amusement park in a video game. Because it's just your run-of-the-mill scary place. But in a tabletop role-playing game, you have to play mini games to escape and then win 100 super happy points. But the book doesn't give you any examples of what these games might be. They tell you that the games are deadly. That's it. But they don't tell you how to win points. Is it just 1 point? Can you give a quarter of a point for an extremely hard game? And then for a game of spin the bottle with your teammates, you get a 50 points? I mean, there's nothing stopping you. You could do that. It's silly, sure. But then again, the book doesn't give you any guidelines at all. It's an interesting place, Wonderland. And it'd be interesting to put players there. But there are no guidelines, and that's the main problem. The lack of guidelines in this whole game. Oh. And guess who the designer was? Guess. I'll give you one chance. Guess it. Write it down in the comment section. Pause the video. Think really hard. It was Schwarzwald. Schwarzwald created the plot here. Are you noticing a pattern? I hope you are. You're all such intelligent viewers. He's everywhere. But now we're done with the places of the world. Let's go to chapter 4. Religions and beliefs. And it starts off with the Christian faith. And that's how it's called in the book. The Christian faith. You have a role-playing book that has the Christian faith in it, but it's not the Christian faith. However, they do have something in common. Magic is evil. Unless you're a saint. Which is an advantage you can buy. It's an advantage you can buy for 2 advantage points at character creation. You can be a saint. You can be canonized by the church. You can use magic. Because you're a miracle worker. If not, you're a dirty witch and you should die. You should go to hell and die. Forever. It's the Christian faith without being the Christian faith. Because again, they don't tell you what dogmas they really follow. They don't tell you if they have any commandments. It tells you they have one God, but, you know, it's not like the Christian faith God, you know, capital G God. It's just weird. Then you have the Lilium. And the Lilium is a weird one because it's basically D&D druidism. You know how druids in D&D, it's nature is magic? Well, the Lilium is just that. Nature is magic. We worship nature because nature gives us magic and spirits. And spirits are everywhere. And that's the Lilium. And you reincarnate. Because nature. There's a giant tree at the center of the planet. Then you have... And I'm sorry if I'm not spelling this correctly. Excuse me. Thank you. You have the Shukyokami. Or Shukyokomi. Yeah, Shukyokomi. It's basically weeaboo spiritualism. With martial arts, Shaolin stuff, and they believe in kamis. Which are spirits. And they come in different flavors, like water, fire, wind, water, earth, not heart. There's no Captain Planet. Steel, I believe, and wood, yeah. So it's very run-of-the-mill. Nothing really to write home about it. You know, if you're playing in the Asian setting, you're probably just gonna be a worshipper of Shukyokami. And, you know, they're evil kamis and they actually exist in the world and you have to be careful, if not they'll reap your soul away and then kill you. Then you have the A.R.M.R. A.R.M.R. Yeah, the A.R.M.R. Try to correlate that with something from the real world. The A.R.M.R. So think about the Azer. The Azer, is it? Because I'm sorry, I'm probably not spelling that correctly. Nordic gods, you know, the Azer, Nordic gods, Nordic mythology. They have many, many gods, one for something different. Their main god is the god of strength and magic and occultism. Well, in the A.R.M.R. it's basically the same thing. One of their images is a giant battle hammer. So yeah, the Nordic gods. Again, they keep trying to be all-inclusive. Yeah, weeaboo, spiritualism, Christianity, D&D druidism, the A.R.M.R. And then you have my favorite one, because it's the most interesting one, the Eneath, or Eneath. Yeah, I'm gonna call it Eneath. The Eneath, it's divided into 2 branches. They have these 2 branches of the Eneath. They have one thing in common. They follow the god called Jihamath. And Jihamath is the creator of everything. Sometimes called Jihamath, other times just called the creator. But also they have the Kali, which are angels. that they control different aspects of the world and the afterlife. What's very interesting is the Enyath is almost like a combination between Egyptian and ancient Hebrewism. Kind of reminiscent, it has like this thing of ancient Egyptian with the whole a god for a different aspect of the world, especially the afterlife, and a god of the sun, and then you have from ancient Hebrew like this one true god. And these two branches basically divide into this. One that believe that Jihamath is the one true God and you should just ignore the other lesser ones, the lesser angels. And then you have these other ones that they want you to worship as well, these lesser angels, because of their importance. And it's kind of reminiscent of Akhenaten. Akhenaten, the pharaoh from reality, I think was the father of Tutankhamun. That Akhenaten, back in the day, he decided, you know what, we don't have a lot of the gods. We have just one god. Nothing. Or something like that. So that's very interesting. I like it a lot because it's a very interesting combination. I wish, and the thing is, the Enyath is one of the least followed religions. Like, they follow it a lot in the lands of Egypt in the game. But it's not that widespread, and I think the game could have done a lot with this one. It could have done a lot more with this one. Then, Chapter 5, we go to the different organizations of the game. We're almost there, folks. Bear with me. And the different organizations, the setting is full of them. The setting is full to the brim with a lot of different organizations. The setting book starts off with the Magus Order. And the Magus Order is an order of mages. And they're good mages. And that's all you need to know. The Magus Order is the good mages. Because they don't really explain that much how they organize or the stuff they do. But they keep into the shadows. Then you have the Order of Yehuda. And the Order of Yehuda is just the evil mages. And they want to conquer the world because that's what evil mages do. So the Magus Order and the Order of Yehuda, they're fighting. Because one is evil and one is not. I couldn't write this even if I tried, folks. I would make up something even better. I would make up something to make it at least a little bit more interesting. Just that evil mages fight good mages. Because. Alright. Then you have a very interesting secret organization called the Consortium. And they serve a really interesting purpose, and I like them, and more fantasy settings should have these guys. The Consortium, they control the money in the world. But not like they have they do have banks, but not like they control how much money a capital has or how much money the empire has. Their task is they control magic users from creating gold. They stop them from creating gold and creating an imbalance in the economy. They prevent economical imbalances. They try to preserve the balance of the economy as much as they can, because they understand that magic users can create matter, and something they could create is gold, and they could destabilize a lot of places like that. So I like them. It doesn't give that much information about them, but it doesn't have to. Because just the fact that we know that there are people actually putting a stop to mages ruining the economy with their magic is really interesting. So kudos to you, Carlos, if it was you that wrote this and not one of your secondary developers. Then comes the Travelers. They're a mercenary group. As big as the world are, there's only about 500 members because they only take the best fighters in the world. Which if you're a game master and your players want to be part of the Travelers, guess what? Your players are some of the best fighters in the world. I mean, what else are you going to do? So yeah, the Travelers is one of the primary mercenary groups in the entire planet. Then you have the new Conclave. And maybe you remember, if not, go back and watch it. From the first video that I was talking about the past of the world and the big war at the beginning with Abel Christ and Ra had this conclave, and it was basically his 12 apostles. Well, the new conclave exists, and the guy in charge is a descendant of Ra, of Iscariot Ra, or Judas Ra, something like that. I still don't remember. I still don't care. So they're basically trying to copy the conclave of the first big war of, you know, the war against Abel Christ. And the interesting part about the new conclave is that Millennium is back here. And honestly, the reason why I'm mentioning Millennium, it's just a paragraph long, and in the new conclave it's also just a paragraph long, but they play her out as such this big anomaly in the world, like she could control or destroy the planet on a whim. That her powers are so mysterious that nobody has any idea who or what she is, what her goal is. All we know is that she seems to be weak, but has more power than anybody else in the world, and she dresses up as a Harley Quinn. I mean, every single other member in the Conclave, they tell us what weapons they use, usually how they fight, their goals. But Millennium, no. Millennium is strange, powerful, mysterious. And don't forget that she is very mysterious. But most of all, she is mysterious. But where do you go from there? She's mysterious, so what? Alright. Then you have a lot of Secret Service groups. Like every single principality has its own Secret Service. It's crazy. The Empire has one. Lucrezio has one. The Coast of Commerce has one. The Eastern Lands have one. The Dark Lands have their own Secret Service. Everybody has a Secret Service. I'm not gonna list every single one of them. Just all you need to know is that they provide services and they are secret. And yes, this is the best book in the series of the Anima books. Then Torrauco, like I had explained before, these are the Templars that protect the mystical things, and the Inquisition, they are the organizations that kill mystical things. They are both under the same church, and they both know each other exists, and they are both at each other's throats, because sometimes they get to the same mystical thing at the same time, and basically is the first one to call it gets it. They are in a dibs system. Dibs. Oh no, just the Inquisitors are here. We call dibs first. You guys, Templars from Torrauco, you have to leave. The dragon's ours. The Templars are like, no, we have to protect the dragon. We have to save it because there are not that many left. No, the Inquisition's here first. We're gonna kill it. You know, it's weird that two organizations from the same church, they're at each other's throats like that. As a player, don't mess with them. They'll just kill you. As a player, don't mess with any of the people that I mentioned or any of the secret organizations that I mentioned. They will kill you. Many, many times. Then, let's go a little bit more into Wissenschaft that I have mentioned before. These are assassins, and they have a lot of techno-magical advances. At least that's what the book tells you, because it doesn't give you examples. It just tells you they have techno-magical advances and they are very strong. But no point of reference. You don't know if they're immortal, you don't know if they can extend their arms, you don't know if they're like Inspector Gadget, Go-Go Gadget Copter, and they fly away. You have no idea. But you know they have techno-magical advances, and one of the things that Schwarzwald did was he infused a lot of them with this substance that's basically it trades all their blood for this black stuff. Like they, instead of blood, they have black ooze that makes them super strong and super agile and even super smart. But as they keep going, eventually they deteriorate and eventually they go crazy and they have to be put down. So the process, it's not perfect, but you know, at least they're trying to get there. Then you have Black Sun, which is merchant group, which is basically Umbrella Corporation because they sell a lot of goods. But they once found the Book of the Dead, and they are now experimenting on dead creatures and bringing them back to life. The book never tells you exactly why, though. So they have the Book of the Dead, and they're creating undead monstrosities, and they have these big facilities where they're testing out these undead, but they never tell you why. Are they gonna conquer the world? Do they want merchants that can travel a lot? Do they want merchants that they don't have to pay? Do they want to sell undead as slaves? Do they want to knock over the competition of merchants with undead? Do they want to kill all other merchants with undead? You have no clue. But they're evil. And they're basically Umbrella Organization if you want to have Umbrella Organization in your game. And last but not least, from all the others, is Samael. Now, Samael is an organization of Nephilim. But not the Nephilim from the core book that you as a player can pick. No, it's the pure-blooded Nephilim. You know, these dark elves or light elves, so to speak, the Duxaris and the Sylvain, all these guys, the pure-blooded. Because a couple of them are still in Gaia. So they have an organization and they talk to each other. The funny thing is that when the book talks of Lucanor, it tells you that he knows about every single organization. That he knows about all of them. And that if he wanted, he could merge Wissenschaft with Black Sun and Samael. Because the guy is apparently that powerful. And that influential. But what else could you expect from somebody whose level is question mark?